Hello everyone, in this video we're going to talk about how we can determine whether conclusions are valid or invalid. So what are we going to get a conclusion from? We're going to get a conclusion from the results of a sample of a population that we have taken to make a determination about some kind of factor. In a previous video in this playlist where we were talking about statistics, we made a video distinguishing between biased and unbiased samples. And we said unbiased are going to be those samples that give an accurate representation of our population. It's random enough, it's large enough to give us good results. So those are the types of samples that we would want to use to determine a valid conclusion. So that's what we see here in red. It says results of an unbiased sample are proportional to the results of the population. Therefore, unbiased samples can be used to make conclusions about a population. Right? On the other hand, we had biased samples. It says results of a biased sample are not proportional to the results of the population, and therefore biased samples cannot be used to make conclusions about a population. So for our example, it says we want to know how the residents of our town feel about a ban on texting while driving, and the goal here is just to determine whether these conclusions would be valid or not. Okay, so how can we determine if the conclusion is valid? Well, what it said at the beginning of the video, right? We're looking for a sample that is unbiased, okay? So we're going to survey 350 residents at random. The results are 298 of those residents are for a ban, and 52 of those residents are against a ban. So we can clearly see some strong relationships, some strong evidence for banning texting while driving. So could we make a valid conclusion from this data, from this sample set, that we should put a ban on texting? Well, yes, we could, right? Because we're asking 350 residents at random. So 350, that's a pretty large number, right? That's going to give us an accurate representation. And it's at random. So maybe it's people who drive, people who don't drive, people who are young, people who are old, boys, girls, adults, children, right? So it's random. It's going to be a good sample that is unbiased. Therefore, it's going to give us a valid conclusion. So this one we're going to say valid. All right, for B, we're going to survey the first 25 residents who drive into your neighborhood, okay? So first of all, it's only 25 residents, so it's pretty small. And it's also 25 residents who do what? 25 residents who drive, okay? So those people have maybe a little bit different mindset. They drive. So only 7 of them say they would put a ban on texting while driving, whereas 18 of them said they're against it. They want to be able to text while they drive. Well, we're going to say this one is not valid. It is invalid. Okay, 2 reasons. 1, the sample size is too small. It's only 25 people. And also number 2, it's not random enough. These are people who drive. So they have a vested interest on what they can do while they're inside their vehicle. So it's going to be invalid. Okay, so that's how we can determine whether a conclusion is valid or invalid.